Hello guys, my name is Masterofroflness, and I'm here to give you guys an overview of the new faction that just came out for Total War Rome 2 called Baktria. Now, Baktria has been hyped as of late, and it's been a very sought after faction due to the fact that many thought that it would include more Eastern-ish units, like more units from India, and more units maybe even possibly from China. And from what I could tell, what the developers decided to do was go a little bit more towards the Greek side, not really much Indian influence here. So we're going to take a look a little bit. We have the Bactrian Royal Cav, we have the Bactrian Royal Guard, we have the Indian Armored Elephants, and over here to the melee infantry we have Bactrian Hillmen and the ʟᴏᴜᴜ Swordsmen. Again, very Greek-esque sort of look for the Bactrians. Now, the problem is that Bactrian Hillmen aren't really something that you're not going to be using in multiplayer. In fact, I don't even know anybody who uses Hillmen in general for multiplayer, besides maybe some sort of cheese build. Really, what you want to go for if you're using melee infantry is more of ʟᴏᴜ Swordsmen. They have a discipline, they have formation attack, blah, 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 all that stuff. So they're pretty good at holding formation, I guess, for the most part. But other than that, though, I don't know. It seems like they're not really heavy on melee infantry, but that's okay because a lot of factions aren't heavy on melee infantry. Then we go to spears. We have the Eastern Spearmen. These guys, I think, are actually cheaper than the Parthian equivalent. Nope. Actually, same price. Okay, I'm just retarded. So yeah, we have the Eastern Spearmen. We have the Touros Spears with a little bit of square formation, rapid advance, discipline, formation attack, stuff like that. Again, you're probably not going to use this spear unit or the Eastern Spear unit, really. You're probably going to go for the Scale ʟᴏᴜ Hoplites or the Bactrian Royal Guard. Now, let's look at the Scale ʟᴏᴜ Hoplites. They have Hoplite Wall, they have rapid advance, discipline, formation attack. Bactrian Royal Guard have Frenzy Charge, Expert Charge Defense, Discipline, and Courage, Formation Attack, and Square. So you're probably going to use Bactrian Royal Guard a lot more than any other type of spear unit. Maybe a little bit of Scale ʟᴏᴜ Hoplites to kind of get a little bit of a cheaper build. Maybe put in a little bit more units on different sort of engagements. But mostly you want to go for the Bactrian Royal Guard. I don't see any point in having a Scale ʟᴏᴜ over a Bactrian Royal Guard besides, I don't know, maybe having a little bit more troops in different areas of your army composition. So then we go for Pike infantry. We have Levy Pikemen, which have the standard, you know, Pike phalanx, steady, formation attack, blah blah, all that stuff. And same with the ʟᴏᴜ Pikemen. Again, there is a debate whether or not that Pike infantry are actually good or not, and I have been testing out Pike infantry against chariots, and so far they're not doing so well. Now, are Pikes bad in general? I'm not really sure about that. There's still a huge discussion about that, so whether or not you think they're good or not is going to definitely be an influence for you. So right, this sort of faction is mostly based on missiles, actually. They have a lot of missile troops, same with the Parthians. So it's good to compare the Bactrians to sort of the Parthians. Not really the Seleucids, as you can tell right over here. I'm going to show it right now. They're not really known for a massive variety of missile cav. Yes, they are known for missile infantry, but not for missile cav, which this faction clearly does have a variety. So let's go back to Parthia. Right over... Fuck. There we go. There. So let's move on to missile infantry. We have Slingers, Persian Light Archers, Eastern Javelin, Light Peltis, Elite Persian Archers, Mercenary Syrian Archers, and Bactrian Peltis. Now, the reason why I'm just looking through all of these and I'm not really going in depth with all of them is because we've seen these already. We've seen these type of units. The Bactrians really don't have a lot of new sort of interesting units, which is actually a big shame. It's more like they're reusing the same units that previous factions have and sort of giving them a blue sort of hue to their units. Maybe a little bit of black here and there and a little bit of brown because they do have mercenary units. In fact, let's see. Eastern Slingers. It seems like Persian Light Archers and... from what I can tell, Elite Persian Archers and Mercenary Syrian Archers. Actually, no, wait, screw the Persian Light Archers. Only Elite Persian Archers and Mercenary Syrian Archers have Heavy Shot, so they're the only two units that have that ability. The rest of them have Quick Reload. Actually, the Eastern Javelin Men do not have Quick Reload. They instead have Precision Shot, as well as the Persian Light Archers and as well as the Slingers. Bactrian Peltis and Peltis in general have Quick Reload, so that's something to keep in mind when choosing between your missile units. Ideally, I do like Quick Reload a lot more if I'm up close and personal, but if I'm far away and I'm using Slingers, I like Persistent Shot a lot more. Again, it does come down to preference. Now let's go to Shock Cav. We have the Bactrian Royal Cav over here, which are an okay-ish unit. They do the job well, and they can definitely, I guess, go toe-to-toe with an Eastern Cataphract. Well, not in terms of health, I think. In fact, let's look it over. Let's see. They definitely don't have as much health as the Eastern Cataphract, which has 120. But still, they do pretty reasonable against other horse units, and they fill their job well as, you know, the backup bitch to the Hellenic Cataphracts, which are definitely the units that you should really pick with the Bactrians, unless you want to save up a lot more money for different, you know, types of units, or maybe some elephants. Then you'd want to go with the Bactrian Royal Cav instead of Hellenic Cataphracts. But generally, Hellenic Cataphracts are where you want to go for the Bactrians. Again, same abilities as every other Cataphract unit, so nothing to really see there. Bactrian Light Horse, these guys are just your standard run-of-the-mill scout bait, blah blah, stuff like that. Citizen Cav, shitty horse unit. Bactrian Notable Horse. Now, let's see, Bactrian Noble Horse, are they as good as the Noble Blood Cav of the Parthians? 90, 60 armor, 52 melee defense, charge bonus, weapon attack. Okay, let's look at these guys. It seems like the Bactrian Noble Horse has a lot more armor and melee defense than the Parthian unit, so they are superior in that regard. Now let's see what else. They are also superior in charge bonus as well. So the Bactrians actually have a superior melee cav than the Parthians, so that's something to keep in mind. Let's go into missile cav. We have the Horse Archers, which have heavy shot, as well as let's see if they have Parthian shot. They have Parthian shot. Do they have the circle thingy? No, they don't. They don't have Cantabrian circle. It's a little bit of a shame. Horse Skirmishers, Mercenary Scythian Horse Archers. We have the Mercenary Tarentine Cavalry, and then we have just Bactrian Horse Archers. That's a little bit of a shame how they don't have Cantabrian circle, but that's probably something that only the nomads can use. In fact, let's check that over. Nope, yep, it's something only the nomads can use, my bad. Well, still, however, I do believe that the Parthian units are a little bit better in terms of missiles, because I mean, you obviously have Noble Horse Archers and the Armored Horse Archers, and these guys are pretty damn fucking potent. While the Bactrian units, they do have a really good horse unit, but it's not as good as a Noble Horse Archer, I'll tell you that much. The Mercenary Tarentine Cav, I don't know. I don't really like him too much. He doesn't have any heavy shot, whereas the Mercenary Scythian Horse Archer does. What's the point of getting the Tarentine when the Scythian has heavy shot? I guess you could get up close and personal with the Mercenary Tarentine Cav with quick reload, but the thing is that I don't really like sort of the quick reload mercenary units, or rather just quick reload horse units in general, simply because that you have to get up close and personal with attacking another enemy unit, and that just leaves you vulnerable to getting attacked by a melee cav or a shock cav coming out of the forest and kicking your ass. So I don't know. I really think that if you want to go with horse units, you really just want to go get archers, just archers. I used to be of the belief that skirmisher units like the Mercenary Tarentine Cav or the Horse Skirmishers are good, but then I realized that what happens is that it puts the cav in a vulnerable position, like I said, and you can get easily flanked by a melee cav or shock cav. That doesn't say they're bad, but I just think that, I don't know, I'd rather be far away from my opponent than up close and personal. Now let's get on to the elephants. Same thing as every other faction, same thing as any other faction. Again, that's the problem with the Bactrians. There's already factions that have these units. In fact, Indian War Elephants, Indian Armored Elephants, there we go. In fact, they probably have the same stats. Yep, they do have the same stats. That's a little bit of a shame. That is a big shame. So, all in all, I'd have to say that Baktria is a faction kind of a little bit in a weird spot. Now, beforehand, I used to think that Parthia was really bad, but now I think that Parthia is in a good spot as well. They're in their own respective, you know, sort of area. They're Eastern with a little bit of emphasis on nomadic horse archer units, as well as sort of just heavy horse units with a little bit of infantry flair and missile flair to go along with it. Nomad units are just all horse units or just a little bit of cataphract spam and stuff like that. And, you know, the Romans and Suebi, Arverni, stuff like that, they're more for melee infantry-based armies and stuff with heavy emphasis on supremely awesome cav units. Now, Baktria is a faction, however, that there's already another faction that does what they do and even better, and that would be the Seleucid Empire. Look at this. It's a blend between Eastern and Greek. We have Greek units, we have Eastern units. We have pretty decent horse archers. Again, camel archers aren't as good as maybe even the Bactrian horse archers, but then again, they do the job well. There's elephants over here, there's chariots, there's more eastern melee cav, there's more shock cav to utilize. And again, I kind of don't see where Baktria is good in this regard. You see, I don't like to compare different factions between each other because I think, you know, every faction is good for whatever, you know, slot they fit. Except for, I guess, Pontus, because Pontus just sucks. But the thing about the Bactrians is that there's already a faction that does Greek and Eastern pretty well. And even then, Baktria isn't that Eastern. Also, there's no Indian units, and there's just no unique units to this faction. I have to wonder where CA is going with this faction, or what they want to do with this faction, what they did with this faction. It just seems like, I don't know, they recycled it. I don't really want to rant about, you know, how CA does their factions or the multiplayer, you know, units, because, you know, I'm not a game developer, but at the same time, I don't know, this seems like a missed opportunity. They could have had Chinese, Indian units, they could have had a bunch of new units. Instead, they just recycled the same thing and, you know, put in Greek and Eastern emphasis, but they didn't even strongly, you know, put that emphasis in. They just took out a bunch of units from the Seleucid Empire and then put them into here. I mean, I don't know, it seems a little bit useless, to be honest, to play as Baktria when there's already a Seleucid Empire, and the Seleucids have a lot more choices in different areas. I have to wonder what the thinking was with making this faction. Anyway, so my name is Masterofroflness, and I will see you guys next time.